Facebook Live. Hi. So here we are, Fearless at 4. And yes, we are live. And this is my first time doing it with guests.
Oh,
I've done 2, so this is my 3rd. So this is my first time doing it with 2 of the fiercest people that I know on the frickin' planet.
oh, thank you.
Boyuan and Jahan.
Hi,
Now
guys.
Jahan just got married.
I did.
Hashtag no big deal.
Not anymore.
I mean, hello, your wife. And what I'm interested in having a conversation about, first of all, is like both of your journey in entrepreneurship, right? As 2 fearless founders of an amazing organization. And then on top of that, like what are, like standing in the space that you stand and the principles that you stand for, like how are you navigating being fearless in that conversation as well? So, ooh, delish.
Starting with our journeys into entrepreneurship.
So Alexis is there, and she says she had $1 every time Eduardo said hashtag out loud. Hashtag millionaire, hashtag living, hashtag fearless ladies, hashtag super big deal.
Every time. It's true.
Yeah, so Alexis is amazing. She
Hi, Alexis.
Alexis runs an amazing nonprofit that works with activism in high school students, and they go back to their communities and activate for their for education reform.
That's incredible.
Speak to
Did she
Sarah.
know Sarah? Did she know Sarah?
Sarah. Yeah, I'm going to connect you with Sarah
Okay,
Camascola.
yeah.
Awesome.
All right, perfect.
So anyway, a little boy, why don't you introduce yourself? And we have this little tripod. This is a little ghetto fab, but
Very
hashtag
little.
nailing it.
Hi, guys. I'm Boyuan Gao, and I just love you, Eduardo. Thank you for inviting
Oh
us.
my God, I love you.
Yeah. So entrepreneurial journey, where do I even begin? I've always been entrepreneurial, very creative, just starting things, and my friends have always told me that I'm a serial entrepreneur, but I'm like, well, what does that mean? It just seemed like such a heavy title, and had a pretty circuitous career path, everything from, well, let's see, I worked in youth development, I worked in environmental justice, I worked in the juvenile detention centers, I worked as a music
Hashtag
journalist.
activist,
Yeah, hashtag activist, thank you. Worked as, what else did I do? Marketing and
Basketball coach.
basketball coach in the Bronx.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'1".
Hello. Always
Yeah.
a rebel.
Yeah, so for a long time I was just trying to figure out my way, and then luckily Jahan and I...
Welcome to New York City.
Excuse us. Luckily Jahan and I met, and we just had a really beautiful connection and decided to create something together, and who knew that we would now have a for-profit company, a creative agency, where we get to really transform companies to create diverse content and to design for diversity, which is, you know, what we're all about, is creating spaces and community that are truly diverse and truly you know, are welcoming to all people, and that's our passion, and we're here to transform race and gender representation, which is something that I've always been super passionate about. I just never knew how to turn it into a business model, and we're so lucky, so fortunate, so blessed to be able to do that.
Awesome. And now we're going to switch over to Jahan over here.
Hey.
Your turn.
So I'm just introducing myself.
Introduce
and
yourself.
How we got on this
Yeah,
path.
tell me a little bit about your journey, and were you a basketball coach too? Or is that...
Hell no.
Hell to the
okay?
no.
My name is Johan Manton, and unlike Boyuan, I can't say that I was a serial entrepreneur. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. That's not true, I actually didn't. But at some point I wanted to, but it seemed like so hard and so far, but there was something that I really connected to, the idea of like having accountability and ownership and being passionate about something and seeing it go from here to out there in the world. And in retrospect, I saw that I actually always did have entrepreneurial, what's the word, like attributes, you know? There was a time when I was 28, that's 400 years ago, and I took about 8 months to travel through South America, and I went alone, and the reason I bring that up is because in retrospect, there's so many entrepreneurial attributes that you learn from traveling. And especially because I was traveling alone, like you had to be resourceful. I had to get to know like what it meant to fail, what it meant to succeed, what it meant to put myself out there, to like learn a new language, all these different things. And I saw how that really has come into play and how it really prepared me for the work that Boyuan and I do now. So I kind of always feel like I fell into being an entrepreneur, but if I really look at it, it was kind of faded. And even in jobs I had from before, I still kind of took on an entrepreneurial perspective in the jobs. Like I took accountability and always wanted to kind of make my own path.
Awesome.
Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer Ianolo.
Hey, girl.
Hi. This is so fun, isn't it? You see like people. And hi, Tina and Sage. It's great to see you on this as well.
Hi, guys.
Oh my God, did Oprah just join?
Oh my God,
Oprah
it's
just
Oprah.
joined.
It's Oprah. And you get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car.
I want a car.
And you get inclusion and diversity, and you get inclusion and diversity.
Yes, please, more of that.
So what I would love is for you to share a little bit about like what's on the docket for Project Inkblot. You know, because I've been
great.
following, and there's just been some really amazing projects that you're creating. You know, specifically around. I think you guys just recently pivoted too. You know,
We're always pivoting.
you're always pivoting.
Yeah,
it's like
when
as we
does
get,
that
let's just
stop?
get a little
We're not
closer.
pivoting.
We're always pivoting. Entrepreneurship is all about pivoting.
Hashtag.
Let's just get closer because it's like.
Hashtag.
It's like a little sandwich. Oh my God! Look at the diversity and inclusion in this one. This is
I
like
know,
a snap. This is
we
like
can't not have that around us. You know, that's
Yeah.
what we were talking about also.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what I would love to hear is like this new project, because especially looking at what's happening in the world right now, Black Lives Matter. You know, like where is it that you saw an opportunity for yourselves to generate and create content that was missing?
Yeah, that's a great.
Great. I'll have you start, Jahan.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, really what's, one of the things we're working on now that's really close to our heart, we're really passionate about, is a project we started with our co-producer, Aunt Demby of Humble Riot, called Fit the Description. And essentially in response to the shootings, police and black men, we decided that we wanted to create something in response to that. And I think like a lot of people, we felt really powerless and like sad and frustrated and really like, what's the point of doing anything? We can't make a dent. And then we kind of flipped that around. We were like, well, if we were to do something, what could we do? And we started thinking about, well, what is it like for black male police officers? Because that's a perspective you don't hear about that often. And I had a personal connection to that because my older brother was NYPD officer for a number of years. And I was a state trooper in Virginia. And he really changed the way I thought about cops. I didn't grow up in a family that loved cops. You know, like that just, no one in my family was a cop. So we were like, why do you want to become a cop? You know, and then I really saw like, well, my brother's a great guy. He's a great husband. He's a great dad. He's funny and smart. He's an artist. He's all these things. And he's also an officer. So Boyuan and Ann and I were really talking about what can we do? And so the end result is this video interview series where we highlight black male police officers and black male civilians. And the whole purpose was to create a conversation that's vulnerable, that's personal, that's telling, and that's going to show another perspective. And the videos are just really outstanding. Like the stories that people share are so incredible. I think that people remember stories, so I will share very quickly that, you know, one of the officers spoke about, you know, he's a black man, he had a 20-year career in the NYPD, 18 of those years were spent in plainclothes. And he talked about being in Fort Greene Park in Brooklyn, you know, many years ago, and with his two white male counterparts who were also officers undercover, and they were running into the park to chase an assailant who was also a black male. And this cop, Cliff, had his like hoodie on and his jeans and his gun was drawn, and as they're entering the park, he's like, I can't do this. I might be mistaken for the assailant. So I can't participate in this chase. I need to wait this out and go sit in the car. And like, that's a very unique perspective that I never thought about, really. You know what I mean? From like a cop's perspective, what is it like for them? And then from the civilians' perspective, they were really vulnerable, just sharing what it was like for them. And it just was really incredible. So really excited about that. Next Wednesday.
When do we see it? When does it come out?
Next Wednesday, we partnered with Brick Media in downtown Brooklyn. Next Wednesday, they're having their quarterly town hall. They do town halls 4 times a year on different issues that affect the community. October 5th, next Wednesday at 7:30 to 9 p.m. It will be on police and civilian relations in the community, and they're going to be showing trailers, little clips of 3 of the videos that we've produced, and you all are welcome to join.
Awesome. So tell us again, when is it?
Next Wednesday at Brick Media, downtown Brooklyn, Fulton Street. Is that?
I forget the cross, but you could just BRIC.
Yeah, And
Yeah.
it's from 7:30 to 9 p.m. It's going to be
October
really
5th.
October 5th, next Wednesday. Really interactive, really interesting. Lots of members of the community and law enforcement will be there.
And can we see them online? And by the way, Jennifer and Arturo joined us, which is great. Hi, guys.
Hi.
So when can we see them online? So are their teasers already available, or?
Not just yet. We're actually meeting
We'll
with the
look on
web
the
developer later on today to set up the site, and we will have that content on.
Awesome. And just share that with me, because then I'll share it
Yes,
with this
please.
network.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I really appreciate that.
Is there anything that you want to add to that, Boyuan?
Yeah, I'll just talk a little bit about the process of creating that as well, which is really interesting because even though, the videos are featuring black men, black male officers, and black male civilians interviewing one another, it's really important that you all know and the viewers know that behind the scenes, the crew is extremely diverse. It's almost split 50-50 men and women. And also within that, just in terms of experiences and skill sets and all of that, it's extremely diverse. And that really changes the way that this narrative is told because usually, all that you see on mass media right now are these contentious narratives about police against civilians, and it's just all about blame, about you're wrong, I'm right. It's about policies and numbers and not about human beings, and that's really what we're shifting. That's how we're transforming this particular dialogue, and we chose black men to begin with because they're at the forefront of this conversation now, and our intention is to expand it. Like, what would it look like to speak to women officers, right? What would it look like to speak to white mothers of black sons or of white cops? There's such a range, and the whole idea is that nobody fits the description. Like, really, we had to check our own unconscious biases against police when we were filming this because we had our own assumptions of the types of answers that they were going to answer, and we were almost wrong 100% of the time, which is really actually refreshing, and that's the intention also for you guys as viewers when you watch this film series to say, oh my God, I remember the story, I'll never forget the story like the one that Jahan just told, and it has completely just shifted my perception about this entire population of people forever, And also, in terms of being women media makers, that's something like, in terms of being fearless, right? It's like if you look at just media makers and content creators in the world, it's still by and large white men. What we see in Hollywood, what we see on television, and I know that that's shifting, but for us, it's like, what would it look like? Like, our perspectives, it's a huge missing. And it's not just wrong that it's this way, but it's like there's so many robust, incredible stories that haven't had the chance to be told. And for us, we're not trying to convince anyone that they need to be told, but once they are told, it really opens up a whole world for people, and that's what we want to contribute.
I love it. But the other thing that I really love is that you surprised yourselves in the storytelling.
Yeah.
Like it went somewhere that you didn't even expect it to go.
Yeah.
And I think that's really awesome.
Yeah.
Amanda Navarro just joined.
Hi.
Oh my God, two of the most powerful women people I know together.
Hashtag word.
Hashtag work, Amanda Navarro, hashtag racial justice, hashtag transformation, hashtag everything.
That's the damn
Yeah. It's a team management leadership program.
Yes.
So the other thing that I want to talk about, because we've talked about race, and we talked about that conversation, which I think is so beautiful, the way that the two of you kind of model, what inclusion looks like, But I'm also interested in the space of entrepreneurship, your experience as women, and especially for, what is the experience for you as women treading the space of entrepreneurship, and what are the exciting turns of it? Like, what's surprising? Did you go into it in a certain context and then it shifted, or like, what's your experience of that?
That's a great question. I think it's complex and it's nuanced. It's not. I think it's, again, not what you would think. Really, it's for us. It's not like we knew. Well, I don't know. First of all, I'll say we're born in a really interesting time because there are so many resources for women entrepreneurs right now, and there's so many people who acknowledge the challenges, the historical challenges that have been for as long as entrepreneurship has been a thing, right? And
What are
so,
some of those resources? Give a shout out
Yeah, so-
to budding entrepreneurs
Oh,
out there.
great. So Jahan and I have been so fortunate to work with initiatives like We NYC, Women Entrepreneurs NYC, which is a city initiative, a de Blasio-funded initiative to help support women entrepreneurs, particularly immigrant and women of color entrepreneurs in the city, which is really great. They offer free resources and classes, and there's a community online, there's a Facebook group that you can join and actually participate and interact with other women entrepreneurs. And the other that we worked with last year was Rent the Runway. They started a foundation called Project Entrepreneur, where they're helping tech-based businesses that are owned by women scale at a much faster rate. And then there's also Tory Burch, which we didn't personally work with, but Tory Burch is doing something with 10,000 businesses, Goldman Sachs, and there are just so many resources, and we're so fortunate for that. So that's super, super awesome.
So now is the time.
Now is the time. And then I'll also say it's also just interesting because obviously we're women of color as well. And some of these resources are like very focused and conscious of that. And other ones are still learning about how to, you know, diversify even within women, right? Even within creating these resources for women. And it's great because we get to actually be a voice in how these initiatives expand and do a better job at supporting women like us.
Yeah.
Awesome. Jahan, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think that, you know, sometimes we'll ask stuff like, well, what is it? You know, it's like, for example, like comedians. It's like, what is it like for you as a woman comedian? You know, like, I'm a comedian. You know what I mean? So I never think like being a woman entrepreneur is like not an asset. You know, I don't feel like I'm lacking because I'm a woman and I'm an entrepreneur.
Yes.
I feel like, you know, it feels like a plus to me. I don't feel like I'm lacking because I'm a woman of color. That also feels like a plus, you know, so I already come in feeling full in that way. At the same time, there's definitely moments where I've experienced a sense of like inadequacy or like fear because I'm maybe talking to a few white dudes who I'm like, oh, well, they're like seasoned entrepreneurs. Or like they know what's happening and I'm learning. Like, but when I didn't get our MBA, we didn't go to, I don't know, Harvard Business School or whatever, because we weren't interested. I told them I didn't want to. They offered me a full scholarship. I was like, no. You know, but, you know what I mean? So like
I'm
we
living
don't.
my life.
I'm living my life. So, so we don't have that kind of formal training. So there are sometimes in that way where I do feel a sense of, you know, fear or like, oh, we took on a lot. You know, maybe we should have done that. At the same time, I also love that we're like learning on the ground. I love that we're just here and we're in it and we make mistakes and then we come back and we have, you know, successes and we have failures and we learn from it and we keep going. So I don't know if that's like a more challenging road, but I've also heard entrepreneurs say like going to school to be an entrepreneur is like, I can't think of a good analogy right now. You know, it's like going to school to be a parent. Like you just learn, you know, as you're in the process of it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hi, Zahira. So Zahira just joined us.
Hey,
Hi.
Hey, Zahira. Zahira's super fierce. I met her at Soul Camp.
Oh.
I don't know what that
She's
is.
hashtag nailing it. So the other thing that I would also love is, you know, the two of you had an experience with Fearless Communicators, hashtag no big
Yes,
deal.
we do.
You know, so I'm curious, like, in that space, you know, you were two of my, you know, first clients, you know, in the city, which is
yeah,
like
that's true.
super special. And, you know, I'm curious, you know, in that work, what are some of the tools that have stuck with you as you communicate fearlessly about what you guys are up to? Does anybody want to take that?
Well, yeah, sure. Yeah, one of the things that really sticks out is, you know, it might just seem like a technique, right, like breathing, but I rarely think about breathing in the way that you explained it to us, and like having our intentions come out into the world in a way that's super powerful. I just never really made that connection. I see myself as a really spiritual person, you know, mind, body, and spirit and all that kind of stuff, but in entrepreneurship, we don't really talk about that in entrepreneurship. We don't really talk about like bringing our intentions into the world in that type of way, using what we have, using our own power. So thank you for that. You know, I'll never forget. And also just that what was that lip thing, the like relaxing your lip. See, I'm still having a hard time. It's like, so I do that at home.
I have a master's in acting.
It's
So
great
good to
because my
know.
mom does that. It's like a
She's-
very old Chinese woman, like.
So when you're let's all do that together. Let's loosen our lips. So
Okay.
let's look in. Let's all come in. 1, 2, 3. It's an awesome tool to just
great.
kind of like just relax,
Very relaxing.
bring the energy forward, and just kind of channel breath.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes like dancing around and moving around like that.
Yeah.
We do it all the time, you know, as an actor backstage and just
Yeah.
in life. People are just like, "What is he doing?" He's just blowing out his lips. Jahan, how about you?
Well, that was okay. The session we had with you was so great. Like we've done, like we say yes to anything that's gonna like support us, help us. Someone's like, "Do you want to go on a trampoline ride through the country or whatever?" We're like, "Yes, that's gonna help." Yes, like we just are like, "We'll try it," you know. So when we said yes to you, that was one of the best things we said yes to in terms of like our own training. I got so much out of that. One, I felt so relaxed. It felt like I'd gone to like, I don't know, yoga or something afterwards. Like my body felt relaxed, my mind felt relaxed. It was so helpful, and one of the things that really stuck out was I don't think about my voice as a tool that I can manipulate and control. It's just like something I do. It just comes out. So I remember that after that class, like just for the rest of the day, I was really conscious of like how I was speaking. And something you also said that really stuck with me was like how your voice how you can like kind of project your voice out here like into the world and not have it be like in your throat.
Yeah. Because it's a gift. Your speaking is a gift. Your voice is a gift.
Yeah.
It is.
You know, and look at these two human beings.
Hi.
You know, and what a gift they are to the planet. Like, you know, I just feel so blessed. Let's come in a little closer. I just feel so blessed to be on the planet right now creating with the two of you. You know, because like what you're doing is like so important, you know, and the voices that the stories that you're telling, you know, I'm just so excited for that voice to be heard, you know. It's also my voice,
It
you know,
is.
and it's
Yeah.
your
It is.
voice and it's your
Yeah.
voice and who knows
Yeah.
who else's voice,
Yeah.
you know, and it's, what I love about it too is it's not the voice necessarily that we expect to hear,
Yeah.
you know, but it's a voice that's there, that's completely untapped. It's like all these like minds that are ready to be like open and seen. you
Yeah.
know, and you're really at the forefront of that. So I just really acknowledge the
thank
two
you.
of you for just like being on that. And to create that as a business that is for profit, you know, is just so inspiring, you know. And I know we've talked, you know, about the ups and downs of entrepreneurship.
Oh yeah, there are many.
You know, and there are many. You know, but if you were to say one thing to somebody, you know, with an idea, with a vision, with a hope, with, you know, something that may seem a little off the beaten path, or an idea that may seem, I don't know, maybe I should do this or not. Like, what is the one piece of advice that you would give them?
Let's see.
Should I be a host?
Yes.
Oh my God!
Is that what you're doing right now? You're a
I
host.
am. And you get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car.
Oh my God, you are
Oh
a
my
host.
God. Hello, Shahana. So Shahana just joined
sorry.
us.
Thank you.
Shahana is
Oh, nice
amazing. Shahana is just like,
I know,
she's a
'cause it's almost like your
super,
name. That's why.
Yeah.
she's an amazing activist, you know, and just, you know, such a gift of a human being, you know, and, you know, she and I, we've never met. We were like, she was supposed to work, she was supposed to be one of our participants for the Fearless Force New York event, the first one, and it didn't line up. But honey, we're going to work together and you're going to be on stage because you're, you know, just the best. And if you want to follow her on Snapchat, she's amazing, you know.
Word.
You know, so anyway, so Boyuan, what would you say?
I would say one thing that's
And yes, Zahira, I am a host. Yeah, I'm being a host right now.
exactly.
Hashtag nailing it. I am
Nailing
your
it.
host. In Sagen, willkommen and bienvenue. Welcome. I don't know about that.
Okay, well, what is coming to my mind? Recently, I've been thinking a lot about this. It just keeps on coming up and up again. But leading with your heart rather than your head, or for me, that's really been because a lot of what we manifest in this world, in our society, is through our head. Like that's how we manifest things. You know, we're like forcing it, we're intellectualizing, and that is a recipe for burnout. At least it is for me. And leading from the heart. You just cut through a lot of the things that are not necessarily serving yourself or your business, and really you have to start with yourself in order to feed your business. And we've been challenged by that many times, you know, so I would really say just feel with your heart and move forward from there, and you know, it's not gonna lead you astray.
Awesome. How about you, Jahan?
The advice I would give, hashtag nailed it, is to do, I told this to someone before that asked me, and it was just like to do a little something, do something little every day. Because I know for myself, like it's easy to get overwhelmed. Like you have like this big goal and it seems so big and it's so big that you don't even begin. Because you're like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do that. But if you just break it down and you just do something, just a little something each day, it breaks it down into bite-sized pieces that are digestible, and then you can actually move forward and like reach whatever that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if it's just like, okay, today I'm gonna send one email, tomorrow I'm gonna make one call, the next day I'm gonna buy this book, next day I'm gonna meet with this friend and talk about this idea. That's what I would say. And the other part to that is to tell everyone what you are doing or what you want to do, because the more you share with people, the more they're like, oh, speak to this person. Oh, you need to keep doing that, then you start to like see the progress being made.
Yeah.
And I found that to be both those things very helpful.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what I'm present in that is, and we're gonna all come back together here, is to lead with your heart.
Yes.
And to share, you know, like literally, like be active, like do a little thing every day, and don't be afraid to share what you're up to.
Yeah.
You know, because you have no idea who's going to come out and help you.
That's
You know, it's like 'cause there is generosity everywhere, and it's just people are just waiting to be asked. You know, because they don't necessarily know how they can be of service to you.
Yeah, that's true.
So with that, we're going to complete our first guest-filled Fearless at 4.
That's so cool.
And as you take on whatever you're going to take on this week, remember to fear less, to live free, and to love more.
That's beautiful.
Okay?
Thank you.
Hashtag nailing it. Can I get a kiss? Oh my God. Okay, amazing. Thank you all very much. Have a
Thank
good
you,
one.
guys.
Bye-bye.